My name is Emily Little. I am an ER nurse. I am an environmental activist. And first and foremost, I am a mother. Yeah. I feel that my two foundational roles as a mother are loving my children fiercely and unconditionally and keeping them safe. When I think ahead to their future and I read the devastating reports from scientists on climate change and its consequences, I think about what 2035 and 2050 might look for them, and I feel physically sick. I feel it to the very center of my physical, emotional, and spiritual core. When I first started reading more in depth about climate, I felt so many things, none of which felt very good. I felt panic at the fact that this was not climate change, but in reality, it was a climate emergency. I felt self-loathing because I was contributing to the problem. I had had children, and I was in the wrong in many ways. I felt stupid because I didn't know enough to make a real contribution. And I felt devastated because I felt I had joined the movement too late, and we couldn't do anything about the climate emergency because corporations were too powerful, our culture was too greedy, capitalism reigned supreme, and our politicians weren't listening to people. But then I realized that my panic, self-loathing, stupidity, and devastation were going to keep me crying in a fetal position, and that is not what an ER nurse does or a mother does. Then I went into a different mode, ER nurse mom mode. I thought about, as an ER nurse, you run towards the emergency and you try your damnedest to do whatever you can do, even if you feel completely panicked inside. That is what we need to do in the climate emergency. And then I remembered that you show up for your patients. Even if you are loathing yourself for your own imperfect life, and we will not let people say that it is just our personal actions that are ruining the future. Corporations like Dominion Energy and politicians like Denver Riggleman need to be held even more accountable than the individual. And then I remembered that even when you are the least experienced person in the trauma room, you can always look to the scientists, the leaders, and follow their lead. We have new leaders here in Virginia, like Delegate Sally Hudson and Michael Payne, who are ready to lead, and we need to help them gain support for their climate initiatives. And then lastly, I remembered that it is never too late to jump into a code. Someone is always exhausted from doing CPR. And they need that new person to jump in and help carry the load of saving a life. We have a climate emergency. Our planet is coding. It is losing its airway. It is having trouble breathing. And its circulation is full of poison. And the only way anything is getting done is if we step up together. Yes. We are in this together.
Together.
Woo! Together.
We can retreat to our own homes, our own lives, our own safe places, but we need each other. We will only do this together. And when it all really gets bad, it will take all of us sacrificing, not for ourselves, but for each other, to brave whatever comes next. When my children look at me and all of you in the eyes in 30 years, we need to be able to say, yes, we did something. We stood together. We said no to pipelines. And we said no to fossil fuels. We said no to Dominion Energy and no to ExxonMobil and no to the plastic industry. We supported an energy revolution and regenerative farming, and we listened to what the earth was telling us. And we all did our small parts to be less greedy and consume less. As a mother, I have to believe that we will take care of each other and the earth, and that you will help me ensure that there is a future for my children, for our children, and for our planet. I believe that Sally Hudson is one of the people who will do the work for the future. Please welcome her to the Climate Strike stage.